Welcome to my low buy introduction. I know it's late, it's already February, I'm late to the party, but I didn't even go to parties. I was going to say I'm always late to the party, but I don't go to parties, who am I kidding? But I am always either late or anxiously early. Anyway, this is the first year I've decided to do a proper low buy. I have had very low spend years before, and I've really taught myself a lot about saving and investing over the last few years. I'm naturally not very good at it, okay? It doesn't come easy to me. I really struggled with budgeting. I really struggled with money. I struggled with paying bills. I have ADHD. I really feel like that doesn't help. And I've taught myself so much about it over the last few years, so I'm in a pretty good place with understanding money and knowing how to budget now. However, after years of being very minimalist and calling myself a minimalist and really not buying much and having very low inventory in my entire house and feeling much better for it and much less anxious for it, I somehow ended up creeping my spending up over a couple of years. There was a couple of reasons for that. One, it's because I had a few years in a row that were just absolute dog poo. Like, just terrible. Everything. My chronic illness going severe, to the point where I was bedbound, housebound. I was a wheelchair user for a while. I had a lot of health issues going on. I still have health issues, but they're not as severe as they were. And I also had a lot of other horrible events going on in my life. Several pregnancy losses, IVF, loads of stuff, okay? And through that journey, minimalism at first really helped me. And then I just fell off. I fell off the wagon, okay? Like I had a big relapse, and while I was really depressed and while I was housebound, but no longer bedbound, I started shopping again. And I bought some stuff, and it was mostly beauty things to make myself feel better, I guess. And I talked about this a little bit in my Project Pan, which I'll be doing a Project Pan as part of this low buy and getting everything out of my house year. That was a weird way of saying it. Anyway, and yeah, I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about? Okay, I was saying how I just sort of fell off the wagon, and mainly because I was in such a bad place, and these things happen, and I don't want to berate myself for it, because I've learnt that self-compassion is the best way of helping yourself, not shaming or berating yourself. I know, who'd have thought it? So I'm going to be doing this journey with a lot of self-compassion, and I'm going to do it so it's not all or nothing, because I'm a very all or nothing person. I also have, as well as ADHD, I have OCD, and I can take things too far, and I can take things to the extreme. So even though I'm a very rigid person, I want to do this less rigidly than normal. I'm going to set rules. I will go through them in a moment, but I'm going to give myself a couple of... What's this? What am I doing with my hands? I'm going to give myself some leeway, but not too much. I just want to have a more balanced approach. Let me go through my low buy rules. I've written them down because there's just no way I was going to remember them. Rule number 1 of the low buy is I can only replace products once everything in that category is gone. So for example, if I want to buy a hair mask, all of my hair masks must be completely gone. It's common sense, but also a lot of people don't do it, and that's myself included. I've been known to buy like 3 at one time, and then I open all 3 at the same time, and then I'm using all 3 at the same time. I don't know why I do it. So I have to have completely finished everything before I can buy another one. Rule 2, no buying multiples. And I'll give you an example of this. When you think you're going to save money by buying the multiples, but then if you're like me, you just have absolutely nowhere to store them, and maybe even somehow go through them quicker because you have a backup. And honestly, it just causes me stress. I just have nowhere to store them. I live in like an 850-ish square foot house. I don't have loads of storage room. I can't store loads of backups. And I nearly, the other day I nearly did this, right? I ran out of my eyebrow pencil, which means I'm allowed to replace the eyebrow pencil. So I go onto Boots and I see that my eyebrow pencil is there. 1 eyebrow pencil, £9. They also sell 3 of the exact same eyebrow pencil for £24. And I was like, oh, I would save £1 on each of them. So I would save £3 overall. I'm like, but I don't want 3 eyebrow pencils, and that breaks my rules. You know, by the time I get to it, I'll probably have lost one of the eyebrow pencils. And not just that, I checked on I have a sheet of how long it takes me to use everything, and it took me a whole year to use my last eyebrow pencil. I'm not going to buy myself 3 years worth of eyebrow pencils, that's nuts. So yeah, no more buying multiples. Rule 3, no new hobby stuff. I enjoy my hobbies, I really want to keep doing my hobbies that don't involve being on screens, such as my cross stitch and adult colouring, and I have a few other things. I won't go into them all, but I don't want to buy new hobby items for them. I already have loads of threads, for example. I already have cross stitch hoops. I don't need to buy loads more items, and if I don't have the specific colour thread I'll need, I'll just use a similar one. Like, it's fine. Rule number 4, no new clothes. I've had an up and down relationship with this. I had a very minimal clothing inventory, and then I gained a lot of weight, and this was again mostly due to depression, chronic illnesses, being pregnant. How many times was I pregnant? Six times. And yeah, unfortunately I've lost all but one of those pregnancies, and yeah, I gained a lot of weight, and I had to buy new clothes because nothing fit me, and then I lost a lot of weight. I lost over £60 or 28 kilograms, and I've been maintaining that for way over a year now. So I had to buy myself new clothes for my new weight, and that's fine. But I have them now, and I don't need to keep buying them. Sustainability is also really important to me. I don't want to be buying fast fashion. I've seen the horrible documentaries. I don't want to contribute to it. And yeah, that's another thing. I'm going to give myself a couple of exceptions. We will get to the exceptions in a moment, but overall, no new clothes. Rule whatever I'm on next, because I didn't write numbers down. I was going to make a rule about eating out and takeaways, but I just don't need it. We don't have takeaways anyway. Like, we have 0 takeaways in a year, at the most 1. We just don't eat them. So I don't need to put in a rule about that. It's already how I live. And eating out, also not a problem. Hardly ever get to eat out. Would love to be able to eat out more, but hardly ever get to do it. You know, have to get childcare, and I get, like I say, I get sick a lot because of my conditions and stuff. So would love to be able to eat out more than I do. But at the moment we eat out maybe twice a year. So really not a big spending area for me. Like I say, would love to be able to increase that. Would love to be able to eat out every month. That would be great. Again, I also don't have things like takeout coffees, you know, anything that you get through a drive-through, think McDonald's and stuff like that. I don't buy them. So I don't need some form of special limit on that. I'm just going to continue not buying them. Okay, so now I'm going to go through my exceptions, and I'm going to allow myself basically 3 purchases that break my rules around cosmetics buying, which means that at any point in the year I can randomly buy 3 things that break that rule, that aren't a replacement, that, you know, just go against it. And it's not that I'm aiming to buy those things, it's just that I'm gonna make an allowance because I'm a person and I might mess up, and I don't want it to be super rigid. Another exception is going to be that I'm still going to be able to buy books, but I do want to be careful not to buy too many. But I don't really have a hard and fast rule. The reason I'm still saying I can buy books is because my other channel is a book channel. So I do a lot of reading. I read, I don't know, nearly 100 books a year, and I'm going to continue to do that. However, I don't buy that many physical books, but I am going to allow myself to buy some, and I'm going to allow myself to buy some Kindle books and things like that, but it's not going to be many. There's also going to be the same allowance for clothing, so it's already the case that, say my only coat rips, then I can replace that coat because that is a replacement and I need a coat. The exception is that I can buy, again, up to 3 items at any point in the year, and that will just be not counted as a rule break, but I will note it down and note that I've done it. And I still think this will be quite hard because I'm pretty sure that last year I bought quite a few more than that, but I didn't track it, so I don't know. What I did track though, I've tracked my spending on cosmetics since 2018. Now, I wasn't doing that at the time, but I've recently gone back and added up every single purchase I made, because I always purchase online, and I've added them all up, and it was fine for a few years, and then horrifying for 2023 and 2024. Yeah, I think I might make a video where I expose myself. That was not a good phrasing. Where I expose my spending, not myself, and go through what I purchased in those years, which, you know, it'll be pretty embarrassing for me, and I think people will be like, wow, that's a lot, especially compared to the years before when I wasn't spending. So I will make that soon and put that out for the entire internet to judge me on. So, you know, be looking for that. And yeah, I hope that you follow along on the journey with me if you're doing a no buy or a low buy yourself. And like I say, I'm going to keep updating you on this, and if I do break any rules, I'm going to have you holding me accountable, because I'll be telling you about it. And I'm tracking all of my spending in my diary. I probably will put it on a proper spreadsheet, because, you know, kind of nerdy. And I will be doing my project plan as well, and yeah, I won't be bringing in new things as I'm doing it. It is just literally about getting stuff out. So if you want to follow that journey, I will link my first project plan up here. I have to say, I did this stupid thing of filming I filmed the first project plan, like the introduction, and then forgot I hadn't done my kind of plan to pan one. So they're in a different order, but whatever, they're both up, and I will put playlists for them as well, so you can check them out. So yeah, join me in the journey, hit the subscribe button so that you can follow along, and I'll see you soon.